let's say we have this piano track which is in the background. I'll let you guys have a quick listen to it, and then we're going to see if we can clean it up a bit. It sounds very sort of retro. So to begin with, let's just play around with some of the bands so you can hear what they sound like. You can hear shifting through the frequency spectrum there as the higher frequencies rise. Let's have a look at this. Goes up to 1 kilohertz. We can narrow it down a lot. Let's just punch it up to 18. You can hear it sweeping through frequencies. Now in general you want to be cutting mostly with EQs, just because cutting is a lot less obvious, and there introduces a lot less sort of distortion content than boosting. And anyway, you can hear as we cut away the mids. So it's really you just sort of have to play around with EQs, and I mean very, very rarely go down to 18. I might just punch it up if, for example, there is a problem area in a drum that I'm trying to isolate. Like here, for example, we got a very ringing tone. So we can actually pull that down a bit. And I'm gonna bunch up the gain here a little bit. And let's move it along to this part of the song. Now let's see, we can punch in a quick high pass filter and then bring up some of the highs here. It's not the tightest piano playing in the universe, but it serves its purpose. And then I like often just to have a quick little dip at around sort of the 200 to 300 mark, just because there's always going to be a lot of information in a mix. Like if this was a real mix, there'd be a lot of information going on in this sort of mid-range. That's where all the fundamental frequencies of everything are. That's where all the weight behind the vocals and stuff like that. So I just tend as a rule to sort of pull everything back in there a bit, because you get a build-up of frequencies there. So we can just have a quick listen. How that sort of clears it up a little bit. And as you can see, I'm not being very violent at all. I think the largest boost I've got going is 2.2 decibel, just in the highs. Now if you pull that out, you can sort of notice how it just pulls it down. But again, I'm affecting a very wide range of frequencies, which is, you know, nice with a shelving filter. Of course, this one, the negative 8.4. Just taking some of that ringiness that you can hear, that resonance in the high mids there. So I felt that cleared it up a little bit. And again, this is a very surgical kind of EQ, while these wider cues are more sort of tone control methods of just sort of fitting and slotting the sound into the mix. Of course, we don't actually have a full mix to work with right now, so it's sort of beyond the point. But you get what I'm saying. Use narrower cues to do extreme changes. Like I would never do a narrow sort of extreme boost, because that will jump out and it'll sound very unnatural straight away. But I will very often, if I can find problem frequencies, do a very, very narrow cut. And of course, wide frequencies. You can always you'll get much the same effect of less gain boost with a wide Q as you would get with a narrow Q but more gain. So you sort of have to choose where you want to go. If you want to go for broader, more general sort of smooth changes, or if you want to go for more abrupt changes. I mean, every kind of music calls for different things there, I guess. So really, that's EQs, and all you have to do is just play around with them. It can't really be taught. You have to start understanding frequencies, just listening to music, playing around with EQs. One thing that you can do is just let's just quickly. I think they have a noise generator in here somewhere. Signal generator. Whoa! Here we go. Pink noise. So, pink noise is equal energy per octave. So this is equal energy. White noise is equal energy across the whole frequency spectrum, while this is equal energy per octave. And octaves, they're all there are more octaves in the lower frequency range than there are in the higher, because octaves are a doubling of frequencies. So from 20 hertz to 40 hertz, that's one octave, and from 10,000 hertz to 20,000 hertz is one octave. So this is why this pink noise is darker. But what you can do, I'm just going to move this down and bring this back to unity again. So what you can do, just to get a feel for where we are, let's just play around. Let's just take a band here and you can just get a feel. Okay, what is this? This is 1.3K. Let's go to 1K. Let's go to 1 kilohertz. And pretty much let's just cut everything out except for 1 kilohertz, roughly. And a little bit around it, of course. That's 1 kilohertz right there. And then of course you can move it around. Let's just narrow the Q to about 1.6 is roughly an octave. And just play around with it and get used to what the different frequency ranges sound like. So this is, you know, a lot of ear training has to do with this. You can get ear training CDs, which are actually great. Yeah, just play around with this and get to know them, get to know EQs, and they are the most basic mixing tool, and they're also one of the hardest mixing tools to learn to use well. So you really just have to use them. And I mean, I've still got loads of practice ahead of me before I can even, you know, begin to feel that I'm proficient with EQ. But I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, if you want to see anything from me, just post it in the comment section below. And howdy doody, y'all.